Hello.
Hi, how you doing?
Fine. My name is Rhonda.
Hey, I'm Sherry.
Nice to meet you, Sherry. Welcome. Glad
Thank
that you could come today and be a part of us. Did you have time to fill out the paperwork that I sent you?
Mhm.
Okay.
I had left it, was told to leave it with the assistant and that they were gonna be processing it through.
Okay, all right, well, good. Well, then I'll take a look at it and go over it and review it before our next session and
Okay.
everything. Did you read the confidentiality statement that was in there?
Yeah.
Did you
Mhm.
have any questions concerning that?
No, I'm pretty much, everywhere you go these days, when it comes to medical stuff, you're having to sign or find or do HIPAA stuff. or,
Right.
Whatever that stands
Right.
for,
Mhm.
for confidentiality. So I'm pretty familiar with it, knowing that everybody's supposed to keep my personal information,
Right. Good.
to, where it's not publicized or anything.
Right, and I can assure you that's the way it is here, that nobody will know what we talk about in these sessions, and nobody will see your files unless you tell me that we can release it to somebody that you want somebody to know, and that would be the only way you can get an informed consent. But I will let you know up front that if for some reason I think that you might pose harm to another person, it is my responsibility to let that person know, and if I have to get the proper authorities involved to, protect them, I will do that. Or if I find out that you had any kind of abuse of a vulnerable adult or a child or anything like that, whether it's sexual, verbally, or whatever, I'm obligated to report that. Or if you tell me that somebody else has been doing that, it's my obligation to report that.
Oh,
And then
okay.
two, if I find out or see that you are leaning toward harming yourself, you're talking about that, and we can't resolve that issue, then I will report that to the authorities and maybe look at referring you to another place to get help. And I want you to know, if anytime you feel that I'm not providing the services that you need and I'm not doing a good job in helping you, and you want to seek out someone else, that is your right, but I ask you to please come to me and talk to me, and I might have somebody that I can refer you to that I feel that would be more beneficial to help you. And so,
Okay.
and our sessions are gonna be like 45 to 50 minutes. We're gonna try to meet once or a week, or else every 2 weeks.
Mhm.
We'll decide as we go along, depending on what comes up
Okay.
and everything.
Okay.
All right?
So, how can I find a job? How do y'all help me find a job?
Okay, there's several ways. One of the ways that we do that is we have 17 facilities called Ability Works, which is workshops where we send clients, if they want to go and they work in the workshop, they are evaluated by evaluators, they're tested, and we try to see what kind of job skills that would be beneficial for them.
Oh, okay.
And if that's an option that you have, or else I can counsel you on finding a job and looking at what your skills are. I'll take a look at your paperwork and see what you've put down.
Mhm.
Various jobs. Have you worked before
Oh, yeah.
in the past? What
Yeah.
kind of jobs have you had?
Well, it's mainly things like I have a degree in therapy, in what's called music therapy. I don't know if you're familiar with that or ever been around that. It's usually the job situations, you got to be in a pretty big metropolitan area in order to find really the real job situation. And the last time I actually worked as a music therapist was many years ago, before Well, it was when my husband is in the military and we were stationed in Quantico. That was the last time I was actually a music therapist, but since then, when we came back down here, I worked as cashiers, I've worked in a Pine Belt Mental Health under their day treatment supervisor, and that's pretty much the last one I had, because it was after that point that I was found to have cancer and went through all the chemos and all that,
Okay.
and the subsequent problems I have now because of the chemo. So.
Okay. What kind of problems, issues are you facing with the treatment from the chemo since you've had breast cancer, and how has it limited you in your job search or in everything?
The biggest problem that showed up about, because people who talk about chemo brain, it's a real phenomenon. It really does exist, but with some people it kind of dissipates over time, but some people it doesn't. And what has happened with me is that I've developed narcolepsy, which I'll fall asleep at the drop of a hat. And one of the issues I had, when driving, I would drive off the road or fall asleep. I'd fall asleep at stoplights. I'd rear end people. And then, one particular situation where I was talking with someone and literally fell asleep while talking to them.
Oh, goodness.
So you can see,
Yes.
a little bit of a
Yes.
problem there.
Yes.
But
Okay.
we're doing, between my neurologist and my oncologist, because I'm still under treatment, I take tamoxifen. We're trying to, come up with ways to try to overcome it, because I went through the sleep study and found that, there's sleep apnea issues, and I use a CPAP. I'm given medicines, they're stimulants that do help, but they have limited, it's not like they only last for periods of time, basically. So I have to be very conscious of, if I'm going to do something in the afternoon that I know is going to require me to be alert, drive, whatever, I know when I have to take that medicine to keep myself from doing that. So.
Are you more alert in the morning time to where you could focus better if you had a job?
Well,
I'm looking at
the different. It's not like I'm refreshed at any time. I have to. I could fall asleep within an hour of waking up in the morning, or I could fall. It just depends, and I usually kind of get I kind of know when it's going to start. It's almost like with having a seizure, where you kind of get this feeling, you kind of know it's coming, and I know to take the medications. And usually the medicine, the initial medicine lasts for about 6 hours. And then if I do have a follow-up medicine that if I have to extend that period of time, I can take this other one that gives me about an additional couple more hours.
Okay. So you probably wouldn't have a problem if we had a job that you would have to work 8 hours, but
No, as long as
would you prefer a full 8-hour job, or would you prefer to do less time?
I think it would be best right now to stay as few of hours, like part-time, until I could kind of get maybe a better idea, because it's been a while, so, I gotta have that mindset, I guess, to work. And I would prefer part-time right now.
Okay, all right. Also, you're still going to the doctors, so,
I see my oncologist once every 3 months, and because I have to go in once a month to take a B12 shot, because I have a weird form of, and it's probably, they don't know if it was prior or if it was due to the chemo. I don't absorb vitamins very well. In fact, I don't absorb vitamin D at all. So I have to go in for injections once a month. They also flush out my port, and but then they also do blood work to look at those biomarkers to see if anything's showing up weird.
okay,
And then I see the neurologist about once every quarter.
okay. So, you wouldn't have a problem with attendance?
Oh, no.
Or anything like that?
No.
Okay. Is there anything else that would maybe pose a problem that we would need to address or look at, letting an employer know when we go to look at jobs or anything that they might make accommodations and work with you?
Not that I know of, but then, I don't know, maybe it would be a good idea to go through some testing or evaluation to see, to see if there's any issues that I'm not paying attention to. Because I'm always open to, for someone to say, hey, something's not quite right there or whatever, because I'm open to any way. Because when I do, I'm the type, I want to be a good employee.
Right.
I don't believe in this, other stuff. I believe in being a good employee, and if I want to get back in the workforce, then I want to do it right.
Okay. And so you don't mind if we take it slow and look
Sure.
at different options
That's fine.
and everything? Okay, that sounds good. That sounds good. So what we're gonna do, I see our time's just about up, is I'm gonna look at your file, look at your information. I'd like for you to write down and think about types of jobs that you might be interested in before the next meeting, and then we'll explore all of that and get more into what we think we can do. And I'll see about, in the meantime, about looking at some testing and evaluation
Okay.
things for you to do, so we can see where else we might need to gear our focus on too.
That sounds good to me. Mhm.
Okay. Is there any questions or anything that you need to ask, or have I said anything that you're unsure of or didn't like or anything?
No, not at all.
Okay, well, good. Well, then I think we'll meet next week and again, and we'll discuss some more things and look for jobs.
Okay.
I'll be thinking of some things that we can do too.
Okay.
And if anything comes up, feel free to say whatever you want to say, address anything.
Okay.
We'll work together as a team to find you something.
Okay.
Okay?
Mhm. Thank
Well,
you.
thank you. Appreciate you coming in.
Thanks.
All right.